Are we live?
Should be live. It says connecting. Now we're live.
Now we're live. Well, sorry we don't have a more dramatic intro. I'm shipping the soundboard full of obnoxious button sounds out as we speak. Includes the air horn noise, the meme of the day button, all that. Um, and I got a notification that we are in fact streaming.
Woohoo!
Excellent.
Who knew?
All right.
Also,
It's
if anyone's
time.
wondering, the reason we do this rambly intro is because it takes a while for it to go live in various places. So, like, if people
Yes.
were like, "Oh, they're going live, let's watch it," we need to just vamp for a bit.
Bam, bam, bam.
So that's why
Well,
we're just yeah.
we are in fact streaming. Okay, so
Woohoo!
I'm
Go ahead.
very excited, not necessarily about the track itself, but about what the track means.
I'm sort of dreading having to review this track. I don't know what I'm gonna. I don't know how to talk about it.
Uh, I and, mm, well, uh,
So on that
let,
note,
let's go. It's partly seen and possibly heard by
uh,
Helios.
uh, and before we start it, the title is almost certainly a reference to "Seen and Never Heard," the track by
Yep.
Lucking. But as we'll see, it bears almost no resemblance.
Ah,
All
all
right, are
right.
you ready?
Yep.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
So this track starts out like it's an image, and then it starts moving. And then
So
we
as you can
realize,
see, that there's no track lines, but Mosh is moving.
and it's a lot. It's a lot of fidgeting, and I don't actually particularly enjoy this section. I think it's well synced. It's very out there, I would say.
You say it's
Uh,
well synced.
no, not particularly.
I okay, so I gotta talk about, like, now that, for anyone who's seeing this track for the first time on here, my process of watching this was I clicked on it, I watched the first like 20 seconds, and I was like, okay, shit post, close out of it, and then like the next day I came back to it, and people were like posting about how it was like they liked it and stuff, and I was like, what on earth is happening here? And then I watched it again, and it got to this second part, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess I could see that maybe. And then I've spent the days since just struggling how am I going to talk about this track?
Well,
I don't
okay,
even know if I
so
could call it a track. I mean, work. How should we talk about this piece?
uh, I think it's not executed well, but I think that a lot of ventures into experimentation uh, are kind of that way. Um, sort of. What I like about this track is not necessarily the track, which it sounds like you're being vague and pretentious and postmodern with your friggin' comments about line rider tracks. Stop that. But before you say that, hold up, viewer who is watching. Uh, the part that makes me a little bit interested is the part where he says post ham, which is a direct call to when we started talking about things in a post ham world
I
in one of
forget
our
what review
reviews.
that was in, but yeah.
Um,
Actually,
but
no, I know what it is. It was in Hasta la Raíz.
yeah, and so what this is it's an exploration of. He says here, it is a means to creatively challenge myself and to release tracks more frequently.
Yeah.
I like that. I don't think every track he makes is going to be a hit or a miss with us, but the sense I'm getting from this is that he's attempting to make every track different.
Yeah. Well,
And
that's one
that
thing you can definitely say about this, is that this is very unpredictable, just in terms of like No, I would never have guessed what it was before I clicked the play button.
Yeah, nor would I have guessed really that Helios would be a person who did this. But
Yeah,
just based on
yeah.
previous tracks, which is another reason why this excites me. He's taking this new
Should we
direction.
watch this again?
Yeah.
All right.
This is probably going to be a pretty shortish
All right.
review, honest.
3, 2, 1, go. Maybe we should comment on the actual track because
Yeah.
the actual video piece.
Yeah,
So-
I don't like the actual track. I'm gonna be blunt with that.
Okay, so I think we're clear on that, but like we can still talk about it specifically because
Yeah.
like for me, like this part, it feels like humorous, awkward music playing. Bosch is spazzing around in a white box. Like that is what's
Yeah.
happening to me. I like maybe there is syncing here, but I don't see it. And I don't really feel like digging so
Syncs
deep
get
that
a little
I try
more
to
precise as it
find
goes
it.
on, but I don't think it's precise, nor does it fit the mood of the music. Like, it's this
There,
like
right there,
this-
right there, right there.
Yeah,
It's at the like 45-second mark. Then it starts being clear that it's syncing with what he's singing. But still, then he's like jerking around. I mean, if you're focusing on his movement within this box, it's very jerky and it's very dramatic. Like he's moving dramatically.
Yeah,
like
and, like,
da 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 da
this
da da
track-
da 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 da, like all over the box very quickly. And that's usually what it looks like if you take the track away and you just look at Bosch. That's usually what it looks like, is he's just violently jerking around in a white box, you know?
yeah.
And I feel like there was like a little bit of like it sort of worked starting at like the 45-second mark, where it was like, oh,
Yeah.
I can see that this lines up with what he's singing. But
I don't think the motion works with the music. The
the
music
motion
is like
is
this
very,
smooth.
very like the
Yeah,
the singing is like pretty chill and also sort of like quasi-humorous, awkward, ironic, and
Yeah,
the movement
the
is
song
like
is-
super violent.
I believe the song is "Them Changes." Yeah, that's the Thundercat song. But
Let's go to like the 45-second mark and then no, it's 40 seconds. Go to 40 seconds and let's play it at half speed so we can still hear the music, because it doesn't make sense without hearing the music.
yeah,
You ready?
all right, here. Yep.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go. See?
Yeah, it's jerking all over the place, and it's got this like. The music itself is just so smooth, and this isn't. That's the ultimate problem I have with it.
Like here, you can tell that it's lining up with
Yeah,
the lyrics, but it doesn't match the overall feel. You know, it's like when we talk about
Yeah.
like when we talked. I forget what reviews. Oh, you know, it was in when we reviewed Yo by Helios. We talked about how like just because a song, or maybe it was other places too, but just because like Bosch does this fling and like he starts doing the fling in a spot with the kick drum, doesn't mean that like that means it lines up with the music, but it doesn't mean it matches the music in
Yeah.
tone and movement, you know? And I feel like this one, up until we get to like the 40-second mark, it like I don't even know what Helios was thinking when he was making the movement, but then when we get to the 40-second mark, I'm like, okay, I can kind of see what he's doing here. It's just that it's a very violent movement, and that doesn't really match the music. And also the music, like the weirdest thing about me is the music choice, because the music choice just screams like shitpost to me. That's why I was like assumed
it's
it
very
was,
wonky.
and I didn't even watch the whole movie because I was like, it's just, you know, I mean, it sounds like it's almost like Chicken on the Rocks. That's what it sounded like to me. I was like, you know, if someone put like Bosch spazzing out in a box and then Chicken on the Rocks in the background, I mean, no one would take it seriously, and that's what this music choice sounds like. You know, it's like
Yeah, I don't think it's meant to be a shitpost though.
I don't think it is, but I'm trying to figure out why he would be like, I'm going to make Bosch move around in a box, and I'm going to set it to this piece of music, you know? I don't...
Sometimes just personal taste does a thing. Like,
maybe.
I had a period where I put Owl City in all of my tracks, so...
But, like, I mean, he's done a Florence and the Machine track, a Macklemore track, a Nightwish track, and this doesn't feel like it's... I mean, those are all high-stakes emotional music. Like, it's a variety of styles, but, like, that's a theme is, like, you can usually expect when it's a Helios track. I guess
we're reading
this,
too much
this is
into
a lot
it,
more. This is a lot more similar to Yo, but even Yo was like, it wasn't. No one watched Yo and was like in the first 10 seconds, like, is this a shit post? You know?
Well, I think that's the thing with like when you're doing experimental stuff. Sometimes it not. I know this because I do a lot of experimentation. So forgive me if I'm a little more interested in this than you might be.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I know as well as anybody that not every track in your experiments is going to be a slam dunk. Not everything is going to work out perfect. And I don't think this track does a lot of stuff. But what I think is that this is a step in a very experimental direction that reminds me of when I first started doing crazy shit.
Your mic is cutting in and out.
It reminds me of when I was first starting to like do weird things. Like
that's a good point.
I didn't immediately make something quality. I sat down and I was like, I'm gonna funnel whatever I had into this thing, and maybe the idea will work and maybe it won't.
Yeah.
And we need to understand, I think, that this might be a case where it doesn't for us, but we should definitely, I think, emphasize that the act of experimenting here, the act of making this track, not making tracks like this, but making tracks in a way that is different from your usual comfort zone is a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, I see it like... go ahead.
I want to encourage this exploration because I think if you keep going with this HP, you'll start making some really, really freaking interesting tracks.
See, like, I agree with that in part. Something I want to say is that a way that, and people might have noticed this, a way that OTD and I differ is that, oh gosh, okay, I'm trying to bring up this window and it got really big and filled the whole screen. A way that OTD and I differ is that I tend to be much more of a, for lack of a better term, line writer purist. And that might sound weird. That might sound weird to some people who are familiar with the kinds of stuff that I've made. But what that means is that, like, I am a big fan of, like, I'm going to make things in line writer. I'm going to be as creative as I can. But I'm not going to do post-production. I'm not going to do, like, any sort of fancy after-the-fact stuff to, like, change how it's perceived. I generally am like, I want this to look like, you know, if you pulled it up in line writer and watched it, it would be pretty much the same thing as if you watched it online. And sometimes that ends up being an illusion with, like, say, scenery splitting and whatever in the old version. But it was like, if my computer had no lag, this is how the track would look, you know, even though that's impossible. It was like, you know, it's a purist approach is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
And so I've never been a fan of, like OTD here is a huge fan of night mode. I hate night mode. I feel like line writer would be a better place, or it would be, the things people made in line writer would be better if everyone just stopped doing night mode. I just feel like it's not, like, it doesn't, I
love it.
I was not a fan
convey an entirely different mood.
I'm not a fan of,
I
like,
think
the
these
different
creative
video
differences
editing
are
techniques Chuggers does, where he, like, changes the scarf color and he'll, like, make it all pixelated or whatever. I'm not a fan of. There's a lot. I mean, things like that. You know, I'm just not a fan of that kind of thing. What's the track that you did that I was like, oh, I don't like this because. And yet, yeah, because you edited two on top of each other, and I was like, this isn't Line Rider anymore. It's like some sort of weird video art thing, and I feel that way about this track too. And it's just because I feel like this. For me, it's like I don't even like I don't want to watch this track because it's not a track. It's a video art piece using Line Rider to create video art. But then, I don't know. I think before we, I don't know. I feel like there are better vehicles of creating video art than Line Rider. And if you're going to create video art, you're usually better off just using things other than Line Rider to convey whatever you want to convey with video art. But that's my take. Go ahead.
Here's an important point I think that needs to be made that sort of bridges these two things. We're gonna dovetail this. We're gonna dovetail it nice, and so. I think it's worth exploring post-production just as my own opinion, just as something to think about in terms of the scope of things you can do. But I also think, in addition to that, you should also be exploring new methods of interacting with Bosch and building things for Bosch within the game. I think that should be sort of... I would say prioritize that thematically over just post-production stuff, because you're only going to be able to do so much with post-production if all your tracks are the same. Because under the surface, this track is probably a lot of quirky stuff.
Hey, that's a great segue. This is the part where I pull up LRA, which it popped up earlier. But here I have the track. So let's... I guess you can't see it. I'm going to screen share with you. Just a second.
I can't see. I may have to go here in a sec, but...
All right. Well, we're only 17 minutes. We can share a window. All right. Well, if you have to go early, then that'll just
well, let's see.
You see this?
Oh, my God. Really?
This is the...
Hey, you're right.
Oops. Why is the music... I don't want a piece of music. It still has Lucking song. Okay, here we go.
It literally feels like?
Wait, no, it's not. What am I doing? This is the wrong... Ah! Where is it? I totally had it.
Huh.
I was sure I had it somewhere.
Oh. That was weird. I thought he, just straight up edited Feels Like.
No, it's not.
That.
It's not.
No.
Sorry, I was loading Feels Like for some reason. I need to find it now. Anyway, what were you going to say? Before I had that fail of a segue.
So what I'm saying is, make sure you're exploring stuff you're doing in the game of Line Rider, in the toy of Line Rider, in addition to post-production, because just post-production will only do so much. I think a lot of post-production stuff is often used as just a way of being like, oh, neat, that's the thing he did, and it doesn't have any lasting impact. There's no oh wow, look at that thing. Offbeat is interesting.
What was that track that you did because when you did the scarves, you edited out Bosch and the lines from a whole bunch
implied
of
Line Rider, but
implied Line Rider. That was very similar to this actually.
Yeah, I'm thinking Offbeat. Literally, the track itself has that gimmick of being only squished, but also just the flippedness. It works once, and it's unnatural for a certain group of people, but that's really it.
This is it.
Huh, cool. Oh, this is the opening to Yo, I think.
Yeah. Is it the same? Looks very similar.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this is Yo, I think.
Yeah, this is Yo, isn't it?
And then he added some stuff.
This isn't Yo, though.
Yeah. And you can see that's where he started syncing.
Yeah. So he didn't actually start syncing until halfway through.
Yeah.
That's weird. Now I'm really confused. Why would he do that?
I think he wanted to start with an idea and then had like a bunch of and then he was like, okay, I'll start with this thing, I guess. That's my guess. Anyway, I think there's a lot worth exploring about the actual like way you make tracks as well, and I think that should be your first influencer before post production stuff. Um, so if you keep experimenting, do more experimentation in that direction, I think, and you might find you'll have better results. I don't know.
Do you have to go?
Yeah,
I'm gonna
but
try to find Yo here. Ah, okay. I have Yo pulled up here. It's not. No, it is Yo. It is Yo.
okay.
The first.
The first bit before he like breaks out.
Yeah, right about basically what I was talking about when I was like, it doesn't make sense until 40 seconds in. The first 40 seconds is literally Yo.
See, there it is. All right. I hope you continue exploring HP. I just hope it gets a little better executed than literally taking one of your tracks and doing something with it, though. Um, though I am not necessarily against sampling. I tend to find that works do better creatively if they are created sort of on their own.
I would be curious as to how he edited out the lines, because I don't know how I would do that or how anyone would do that. But it clearly worked. I mean,
Probably
I can't
the
imagine
zoom,
he went through frame by frame.
zoom glitch, I think.
But it's in LRA.
Mm.
There's no zoom glitch in LRA. And it's
Uh,
recorded in LRA.
I haven't the slightest idea then.
All right, well.
Anyway,
I hope you
I'll
didn't
see
go
you
through
around.
frame by frame. All right, bye OTDE. I don't really have anything else to say. Sorry if this review is a little negative and discombobulated.
It's not that negative. I think. I think we had some good ideas for him to start, but like negativity is not necessarily bad, and we're not like bashing on the track. It's like you're a bad person for making this track. So that's not how this works. I'll see you around. Keep doing things. Both you and HP.
All right, I think that's a good place to end this. I can't. I am curious. I am definitely curious what you do next, HP. And I won't dismiss anything you do as a shitpost. I'll
Yes.
take it at face value, whatever it is.
I look forward to the second installment of Post Ham. See you
Yeah.
around.
All right. And thanks, people, for watching. And
Bye.
see you next time.
You are all lovely viewers.
Bye.
All right.